Blue Jays flipped the narrative with stunning Game 1 rout. Toronto. To win the pennant for the first time in a generation, only to be lined up against a defending champion with the sport's most loaded roster, is to be simultaneously touted and doubted, as these 2025 Toronto Blue Jays can attest. But the Jays knew there was a soft underbelly to the Dodgers' $320 million machine, and they perfectly executed their plan to expose it in a World Series Game 1 on Friday night that both silenced the skeptics and cranked up the volume in a raucous Rogers Center. After forcing Dodgers starter Blake Snell out of the game with the bases loaded and none out in the sixth, the Blue Jays' deep lineup then pounced on the iffy Los Angeles bullpen with a 9-run frame that sent them to an 11-4 victory in front of the cacophonous crowd of 44,353 that came for Canada's first Fall Classic game since 1993, World Series 2025. Blue Jays blow out Dodgers as Addison Barger hits first pinch-hit grand slam in Fall Classic history. The big question of the 2025 World Series was whether the Toronto Blue Jays lineup would continue a historically dominant postseason against the Los Angeles Dodgers' historically dominant rotation, and vice versa. Round 1 went convincingly to the Blue Jays, and then the Dodgers bullpen got involved. The Dodgers had reason to feel confident going into the game. Starting pitcher Blake Snell had allowed just 2 earned runs in 21 innings across 3 postseason starts, and he was coming off an 8-inning masterpiece against the Milwaukee Brewers. But the Blue Jays brought that run to a screeching halt. Snell retired only 12 of his 24 batters faced. He allowed 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and a hit by pitch. He exited the 6th inning with the bases loaded and no outs in a tie game. Emmett Sheehan was called in to keep the game tied. 3 batters later, the score was 5-2, still with no outs. Then Anthony Banda was called in to try to keep the game close. 1 batter later, it was 9-2, thanks to a grand slam from Addison Barger, the first pinch-hit grand slam in World Series history. Alejandro Kirk added another 2-run homer after that to send the game further into laugher territory. It was a deliriously happy night for a Rogers Center crowd that was watching its first World Series win since 1993, 32 years and 1 day later. The Jays' breakthrough at the expense of Snell gave Toronto 3 more runs against the Dodgers' rotation than the Brewers scored in the entire NLCS. It also more than made up for a shaky start from Trey Yesavage, the rookie who was drafted last year and began the season at Low A Dundon. He left the game after 4 innings of 2-run ball, and it could have been much worse considering that his best pitch, his splitter, was barely working. Bo Bichette also made his return after missing more than a month due to a left knee sprain. Batting cleanup, he went 1 for 2, with a walk and exited in the 6th inning for a pinch runner. He also made a nice play at second base in his first appearance at the position since he was a minor leaguer in 2019. All of that handed the Dodgers only their 2nd loss across 4 rounds of the postseason. It's one that could leave a mark. Can the Dodgers recover from this? Losing a World Series opener is bad enough for the Dodgers. Losing by 7 runs is also bad. But the really concerning part, if you accept that Snell just had one of his off nights, is that Sheehan and Banda are theoretically 2 of LA's top 4 arms out of the bullpen, with Alex Vesia likely out for the series. The 2 others, judging from how the Dodgers have deployed them, are Blake Treinen, who has eroded stomach linings in Los Angeles all postseason, and Roki Sasaki, a rookie in his first month of relief work, who is essentially the team's new closer by default. Incredibly enough, this game was the first time all postseason that the Dodgers bullpen has taken a loss, despite a 4.88 ERA entering Friday. The Dodgers' rotation was good enough to hide that fatal flaw for 10 games in the first 3 rounds. The question now is if they'll have to do it for 4 more games just for Los Angeles to have a prayer in this Fall Classic. But on the bright side for LA, Shohei Ohtani hit a homer.